From fast-paced action sequences to plotlines filled with one-on-one face-offs, samurai movies are a martial arts lover's idea of paradise. This niche action genre gained a lot of attention after the rise of samurai films in Japan in the late 80s and 90s, which gave way to some popular hits such as Seven Samurai and Lady Snowblood. However, today we shall explore some of the more underrated gems of this genre and tell you all about them. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The Twilight Samurai, 2002. Set in 19th century Japan, Twilight Samurai was a historical drama film inspired by Shuhei Fujisawa's short story, The Bamboo Sword. The movie follows the life of a low-rank samurai known as Seibi Iguchi, who had recently lost his wife to tuberculosis. As he moves on from her death, he lives alongside his daughters and his mother, who suffers from dementia. He somehow tries to find meaning and contentment despite his hardships, but his path is filled with obstacles, and the movie also serves as a social commentary on the troubles of being a low-rank samurai in the feudal system. As the film progresses, Seibi reconnects with his childhood friend, Tomoe Inuma, and we see a tinge of romance between the two as the feudal society comes crashing down around them. The movie takes us on a journey as this samurai struggles to keep his honor and career going despite being placed in an outdated system that is gradually ceasing to exist. Yoji Yamada's storytelling truly transports us to the olden days in Japan, and the movie builds up to an intense finale where Seibi's superiors order him to kill another samurai known as Yogo, who has been disowned by the clan. While Seibi is initially hesitant, he uses his kodachi fighting techniques to his advantage against Yogo's Ito-ryu swordsmanship techniques and emerges victorious in this face-off. As the film ends with Seibi returning home to Tomoe, their happiness does not last long, and an epilogue reveals that the samurai died about 3 years after the events in the film. Twilight Samurai is a beautiful tale of a samurai's code of honor, and all the drama surrounding Seibi's personal life makes it all the more worthy of a watch. Azumi, 2003. While Ryuhei Kitamura is best known for making Godzilla, he also tried his hand at making a samurai film in 2003. Azumi is a slow-paced action film that unravels over its 142-minute runtime, but Kitamura's camera work and messy shooting style certainly make it worth your time. The movie begins in feudal Japan, as Old Master Jiji emerges from a brutal battle and is approached by the military, or the Tokugawa shogunate, to raise a group of skilled assassins. The shogunate was trying to prevent another civil war, Toyotomi Hideyoshi's allies, and nip their problems in the bud before things escalated and gave rise to a full-fledged battle. Soon enough, Master Jiji shoulders the responsibility of training a group of assassins, and a young girl named Azumi catches their attention. While she kneels next to her dead grandmother's body without showing any sadness or emotions, Master Gesai recruits her to join this team and helps her sharpen her martial arts skills on a secluded mountain. While Azumi had no contact with the outside world, she had a bunch of classmates, and they grew up together until the masters decided that it was time for them to venture out into the world and kill Hideyoshi's allies. They start with Nagamasa Asano and Kiyomasa Kato, and the movie takes us on a wild trip filled with terrifying action sequences, well-choreographed fight scenes, and assassinations. While the team has a reasonable success rate with their killings, the movie ends with only Azumi and her classmate Nagara surviving until the end. As they mourn the loss of their master and friends, Azumi and Nagara pair up to kill the last ally, Masayuki Sanada. When the Last Sword is Drawn, 2002. Loosely inspired by real historical events, When the Last Straw is Drawn is a 2002 drama film that tells the tale of two Shinsengumi samurai. These samurai were known to be a part of an elite group of swordsmen who were brought together to protect Japanese military officials during a period of great unrest in the Bakumatsu period. The movie is set during the fall of the Tokugawa shogunate, and it follows the lives of two samurai, Saito Hajime and Yoshimura Nomura Kenichiro as they reminisce about their lives amidst such great conflict. While Saito is a heartless assassin, Kenichiro is a money-minded swordsman who sometimes gets caught up in his emotions. Most of the movie takes place in the form of war flashbacks as they tell their story. Among other things, these samurai struggle with maintaining loyalty to their clan and family, and one of the main messages revolves around the samurais going to great lengths to keep their family safe, even if it means they might never see them again. While this movie promises a whole lot of action, it's also a wonderful watch for any historical fiction enthusiasts, as it gives you a generous peek into the life of the Shinsengumi samurais. The Hidden Blade, 2004. Directed by Yoji Yamada, The Hidden Blade serves as a sequel to The Twilight Samurai and brings in an element of romance in an action-dominated genre. The movie received a lot of praise for its realistic portrayal of 1860s Japan, a period of great unrest, as the ruling and class structures for samurai were going through a drastic change. The Hidden Blade is quite fast-paced, and it introduces us to a bunch of samurai characters as two friends, Katagiri and Shimada, come together to bid farewell to their friend, Hazama. While Hazama was setting off to serve in Edo, his friends were concerned that he might fall into trouble, and their suspicions were eventually confirmed as Hazama's name was involved in an uprising. Katagiri tries to find his friend to convince him to surrender, but a bunch of soldiers corner Hazama and kill him upon the clan leader Hori's orders. The movie revolves around Katagiri's pursuit of love and companionship, but at the same time, it also covers his samurai career as he learns that Hori had engaged in sexual acts with Hazama's wife, with the promise that he wouldn't cause him any harm. Now that Hori had not only exploited his friend's wife, but also killed his friend, Katagiri sheds all inhibition and gears up to avenge Hazama by stabbing Hori in the heart with a thin blade, in a technique known as the Hidden Blade. Besides a striking romance and a whole lot of action, the Hidden Blade is known for being beautifully shot, and it essentially transports us to 1860s Japan through its aesthetic realism. The actors do a marvelous job of breathing life into the characters, and the movie has an engaging narrative that's bound to keep you hooked to the screen until the very end. Sword of Desperation, 2010. Directed by Hideyuki Hirayama, Sword of Desperation followed the life of a highly skilled samurai named Sanzaemon Kanemi. Portrayed by Atsushi Toyokawa, Kanemi's character was a top-notch samurai who had honed his craft over the years, and the members of the court were surprised when he went ahead and stabbed Lady Renko to death. While Lord Ukyo sentenced Kanemi to house arrest, the story moves in flashbacks as we learn that Kanemi was actually sent on this mission by Lord Ukyo's chief advisor, Minbu Tsuda. As it turns out, Lady Renko indulged in a lot of luxuries and spent a lot of court money, and Lord Ukyo decided that it would be best to get rid of her by sending Kanemi to kill her. While Kanemi fulfilled his duties as a samurai, Minbu Tsuda and Lord Ukyo's next course of action was killing him to eliminate any evidence. However, Kanemi had promised his lover, Ryo, that he would never return to her, and the film's climax sets a tense atmosphere as he tries to do everything in his power to escape the death sentence on his head. While Kanemi does get fatally wounded by Tsuda's samurai lackeys, Kanemi garners the courage to perform the Sword of Desperation trick, to at least kill Tsuda before succumbing to his wounds. The movie has quite a sad ending, as Kanemi's betrothed waits for him with her infant son in her arms, and it deserves a lot of praise for telling such a heartbreaking tale in such an aesthetically pleasing manner. Samurai Assassin, 1965. Set in the historic time period before the Meiji Restoration, Samurai Assassin was a 1965 film that explored Japanese society and the position of samurai right before the Restoration reformed the caste system within the societies. This movie takes an historical angle like most samurai films on this list, and it is a reimagined telling of the Sakura Damon incident and Lord E. Nausicaa's assassination. The movie begins with a focus on Nero Niro Tsuruchio, a young man who has been shunned by society after being born as the illegitimate son of a nobleman. While he was not accepted by most, Niro joined rebel clans plotting to defeat the lord of Hikone, Sir E. Kamonokami Naosuke. Naosuke had left quite a bad taste in everyone's mouth in the Satsuma, Mito, and Choshu districts after choosing an unpopular candidate to be the 14th shogunate, and he then went ahead and silenced the voices of dissent. Outraged by Naosuke's actions, Niro and other rebels devise a plan to assassinate him and ensure that he no longer wields any power in the political scene. The movie starts slowly and creates a gripping atmosphere full of suspense, keeping the audience on the edge of their seats until the final scene. Besides being filled with thrilling action sequences and political plans to assassinate leaders, Samurai Assassin also comes across as a wonderful historical drama, and it's a shame that it does not get the recognition it deserves. Zatu Ichi, Darkness is His Ally, 1989. Also titled Zatu Ichi, The Blind Swordsman, this 1989 Japanese film was one of the 26 films that were based on the titular character. It goes without saying that Zatu Ichi was a blind swordsman, and his adventures were inspired by a fictional blind man who worked as a masseur and a swordmaster in the late Edo period. This film begins with Zatu Ichi's freedom from a life in prison, but he soon re-enters human society to find that the Yakuza Lord Boss Gaomon and Inspector Hashu have besieged their local village. Enraged by the fact that Gaomon is using his army to terrorize the villagers, Zatu Ichi steps up to fight him on his own, while the Yakuza sends an unnamed Robin to kill the blind swordsman and eliminate this threat. This film marks the end of a 27-year-long saga, and it was directed by Shintaro Katsu, who also plays Zatu Ichi in the film series. While this saga may have more well-made films, Darkness is His Ally serves as the perfect end to such a long-lasting legacy, and Zatu Ichi's grit and determination to fight the Yakuza boss for the villagers certainly promises a whole lot of samurai action. Love and Honor, 2006. So far, we've explored many movies where samurais follow a strict code of honor and even sacrifice everything they have to fight for what they believe in. However, this 2006 release brings a romantic aspect to the hardened life of a samurai as it follows the story of a blind samurai and his devoted wife. Love and Honor was created by Yoji Yamada, a name you heard earlier in this video. After Yamada made the Twilight Samurai in 2002 and The Hidden Blade in 2004, he got an overwhelmingly positive response that inspired him to turn this into a trilogy, with Love and Honor being the final piece of this story arc. Set in the Edo period, this movie focuses on a low-ranking samurai named Shinojo, who lives alongside his stunning and devoted wife, Kayo. As the film picks up pace, Shinojo ends up falling sick after consuming some whelk sashimi, and the toxins in the food soon blind him. While he relied on his swordsmanship to put bread on the table so far, Shinojo now finds himself in despair, but his wife somehow manages to strike a deal to secure rice for the entirety of their lifetime. In an unfortunate turn of events, his wife soon reveals to him that a samurai named Shimada had offered to help her after forcing himself upon her, and an enraged Shinojo sets out to restore his wife's honor and kill Shimada. The Betrayal, 1966. While this movie is called The Betrayal, rest assured this one will not betray or disappoint you in your search for an underrated samurai film. Directed by Tozoku Tanaka, this movie is best known for its sword fighting sequence, as the protagonist finds himself facing a new opponent at every twist and turn. The plot loosely follows the life of Kamuse Takuma, an honorable and somewhat naive samurai who is portrayed by Raizo Ichikawa. While Takuma is extremely gifted at sword fighting, he realizes that his naivety sometimes puts him in tough spots, and that his peers often take advantage of his strange sense of humor. As Takuma continues to hone his craft and make a name for himself as a samurai, he questions his devotion to moral samurai principles, especially after he learns how dishonorable his peers are. These realizations help him shed his naivety and embrace his ruthless, animalistic nature as he sets out to put a stop to his former clan and grows more and more weary of the samurai code. Samurai Wolf, 1966. Directed by Hideo Gosha, Samurai Wolf is nothing shy of a classic, and hardcore fans of this genre will certainly be familiar with this otherwise underrated movie. With a runtime that is barely over an hour, this movie dives right into the plot and focuses on Isao Natsuyagi's character, Okaminosuke, who seems to be somewhat of an anti-hero. Okaminosuke soon finds himself in the midst of action while he tries to save a blind woman from adversary, and all hell breaks loose as he meets his match in the form of an opposing swordsman. As the two samurai fight each other, we learn that Okaminosuke's opponent was specially hired to kill the blind woman, and stakes run at an all-time high as both these skilled assassins try to emerge victorious. While most samurai films on this list focused on Japanese history or romance, Samurai Wolf is a good old action flick, packed with tons of sword fighting, carefully choreographed fight sequences, and a whole lot of blood spilling that makes it the perfect samurai film for all action fans out there. Marvelous verdict. Well, that was it for today. While the samurai genre has been dominated by some mega popular Japanese films, we tried our best to curate a list of underrated samurai films that might have been overshadowed over the years. These films may not have created a buzz among the audiences, but their gripping storylines, fast-paced action sequences, and face-offs certainly make them worthy of a watch. We hope you found a few gems for your next action movie night, and let us know in the comments if we've missed any of your favorites. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.